Welcome back to Off the Record. My name is Strider Bigler, and we're breaking down the breaking news, one of the biggest stories probably of the year. The United States bombed Iran last night, and what Donald Trump called a massive success. The United States sent B 2 bombers to Iran to hit some of their nuclear facilities, and according to everybody involved, it was a massive success. But today we're going to be breaking down that for you and off the record what our thoughts are on this and where we think the United States goes from here. So, this is what senior Pentagon officials called the biggest B 2 operational strike in United States history, titled Operation Midnight Hammer. General Dan Kane said that around 6:40 p.m. Eastern Time or 2:10 a.m. in Iran, the lead B 2 bomber dropped two bunker buster bombs known as GBU 57 massive ordnance penetrators or MOPs on the site at Fordow. Over the next 25 minutes, Kane said a total of 14 MOPs would be dropped on the targets at Fordow, and the Tomahawk missiles, were landed at Isfahan after bombs were dropped at the two other sites. So, was this mission a success? If the information we're hearing is true, that it pretty much wiped out any progress Iran had made towards a nuclear weapon, then I would absolutely say that this was a success for the United States. Now, where this becomes not a success if the United States are forced into a war with Iran. That's not what the people voted for. Donald Trump campaigned on keeping us out of wars, no forever wars. And a war with Iran sounds like a forever war to me. They've been a threat for the last 20 years, and we continuously try to do our best to topple them, but I don't think that's what's best right now. America has a lot of issues by itself that they need to address. Getting into a conflict with Iran doesn't sound like a good idea to me. And I don't think it sounds like a good idea to Donald Trump. He essentially said that Iran better be peaceful or there'll be a lot more where that came from. Um, do I think provoking Iran is necessarily the best idea right now? No. But Iran has routinely ignored what the rest of the world wants. The rest of the world did not want Iran to get a nuclear weapon. That's all there is to it. They'd be dangerous. It's already a country with questions with their morality. They don't really subscribe to Western ideals. So Iran isn't exactly a country that the rest of the world wants to get a nuclear weapon. And Trump repeatedly over the last decade has been pretty consistent on this. No nuclear weapons for Iran. And they didn't listen. And this is kind of the consequence for not heeding the warnings from the president. The president did a little bit of misdirection there, saying that he was giving them 2 weeks and then bombing them under the cover of night. But according to everyone involved, those nuclear facilities have been destroyed. The bunker buster bombs, I believe, don't detonate until they're 60 meters under the ground, which is pretty incredible technology. I believe the United States is one of the only militaries capable of causing this kind of destruction, which is probably why Israel wanted us to get involved so bad. I have my opinions on Israel and fighting on behalf of them, but it does make sense for them to want the United States to step into this conflict, even if it's for this short time. I think this was a success under two stipulations, as long as the nuclear sites were destroyed and we got rid of all of their enriched uranium and no Americans die from a conflict with Iran. The second Americans start dying is the second I'm out on this, and I believe that what happened last night becomes a big problem and a stain on Trump's presidency. So there's been a lot of talk of, did Donald Trump act constitutionally on this? Did he break some kind of code? Was he going rogue, as a lot of Democrats want you to believe? And the short answer of it is no. There's so much precedent for this. You look at Harry S. Truman, he did it. Dwight D. Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy twice, Lyndon B. Johnson once, Richard Nixon twice, Gerald R. Ford, Ronald Reagan, twice. George H.W. Bush, twice. Bill Clinton, 5 times. George W. Bush, 3 times. Barack Obama, 7 times. Donald Trump, 4 times. And Joe Biden, 3 times. Those are all of the presidents. That's a list of every president who has authorized a airstrike without congressional approval. I believe Jimmy Carter is the only one who never did. He was more of a peacetime president anyways. That was his thing. So it makes sense for him to just not send very many airstrikes at all during his term. And any that he did send, the records show that he got congressional approval for most of them. So, but to get back to the point on that one, you saw people like AOC saying this is an impeachable offense. Well, was it an impeachable offense for Joe Biden? Was it an impeachable offense for Barack Obama? Or is AOC continuing to just fight for her party? She speaks a lot and often has no substance to her words. She likes to blame Donald Trump for issues caused by other presidents or issues that other presidents also handled poorly. She had nothing to say during Joe Biden's 4-year term when he was losing his cognitive function. She had nothing to say about his airstrikes that he authorized during his term without her approval. And let's just be honest about Congress. None of them get anything done. The only branches of government that are operating how they're supposed to right now is the judicial and the executive. Congress refuses to get everything done because we have people like AOC who continuously just fight for her party. I saw last night John Fetterman was in support of these strikes, and that's what you need to be as a politician. Be more like John Fetterman and less like AOC. You need to fight for what's right. You need to fight for what you believe in. AOC continuously fights along her party's ideological lines. It's disgraceful, and it frankly doesn't get us anywhere. If Donald Trump had gone to AOC and pitched bombing Iran, how long do you think it would have taken, and how many concessions would Donald Trump have needed to make in order to appease AOC? It would have taken months to get this approved. There's no reason that the leader of the military, which is what the president is, should have to go through Congress to authorize a simple airstrike. No president in the past believed it, and it shouldn't apply to Donald Trump now. There's precedent to say that presidents are allowed to do this. And if AOC wants to change that, she should take it to Congress. When was the last time you saw AOC pass anything meaningful? All she does is sit around and complain. She doesn't get anything done, just like the rest of Congress. All they do is sit around and they bicker in their congressional meetings and they hurl insults at each other and nothing ever happens. And the people who do get things done, those are the ones that get criticized. It's a lot easier to criticize when you've done nothing and there's nothing no one can criticize you for. But Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth, they're doing things. Regardless of what you think about them, they're getting things done. AOC, not so much. So was he acting unconstitutionally? No, he was not. If he was, then every president has. So let's just change the Constitution. If every president is doing this, let's change it to fit the ideals of what Americans want. Because a majority of Americans believe that the president should have authority over these things, not Congress. So that's how I feel about the situation. Once again, if we get involved in a war in Iran, I'm not for this at all. But as long as this is the extent of it, bombings, no American soldiers got shot at last night, a complete success. If this is how it goes and this is what it is going forward, I'm for it. And we'll just have to see. I don't want to get stuck in another war. I'm not dying for Israel. So yeah, that's all I have. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.